welcome back to the Blue Jays Today show, where today, guys, we don't have the greatest things to say about the Toronto Blue Jays because we watched them lose to the second worst team in all of baseball. Yes, that was very, very sad and very, very depressing, but there are some good positives to pull, but there are also obviously some negatives that we got to pull out from that series, guys. Before we get into it, let's hit that like button, subscribe to Blue Jays Today. It really helps out the channel, guys. And today, of course, we do have a special guest. If you look at the title, you can see that we've got the one and only, now author, Keegan Matheson from MLB.com. Welcome in, Keegan.
What's up? The one and only, thank God. It's for the best. Happy to be here, guys. How we doing?
Man, good. I mean, other than, of course, the Blue Jays lost, but I don't like to wear losses on my sleeves. I like to forget about it. You know what I mean? It's healthier that way if you just disassociate emotionally from the team.
I think so. Yeah. Even the good teams lose a lot. So, I mean, they don't lose to the White Sox, maybe, but
right.
Well, I saw on your Instagram, I think you posted something yesterday being like a necessary post-game meeting or something like that. I guess your own version of disassociation. 1, 2 drinks. You know, we felt good after that.
Yeah, 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, whatever it was. But you know, last chance to blindly bet an over on an NBA basketball game of the season. Of course, never works. But man, it's a good night to. And thankfully, I'm talking to you from a place right now that is not Cleveland. You know, of my favorite places in the world, it goes like Nova Scotia, not Cleveland, and then anywhere else. So I'll be back with them in Boston, which is a city I enjoy a little bit more. But good to have a little break.
Yeah,
of course, man. And it is an off day today, so Blue Jays get their break in. But it is obviously on the, or I guess post them getting beat up a little bit by, like we said, second worst team in all of baseball. Do you put a lot of weight on that series at all? Is that cause for concern? I mean, they're still 5 games above 500. They're still playing relatively good baseball. There's still lots of things to like about this team. But again, losing a series at home, especially to the second worst team in baseball, like that is a notable talking point. You know, how I guess like level of concern for you.
Yeah, it's not good, but I don't get too grand with it. Now, if the Blue Jays had sucked at a specific thing all year, and they really sucked at that thing against the White Sox, sure. If they had been a terrible starting pitching team or a terrible lineup all season, and that still happened against the White Sox, sure, it's bad. Lose your minds. But I think I look more individual level with a series like this. And, of course, that points to Jeff Hoffman and then the back of the bullpen. Lots of good from it, like Bichette and others. But when I look at the 2 losses, guys, like the win was a very good win. All wins are good, but that was particularly good. The first game of the series is one that I'm likelier to categorize under like the, hey, it happens, it's baseball type thing. It was just a bad game. There was nothing good about it.
Yeah.
Have some duds. I show up to work some days and have duds. We all do. It's going to happen. Yeah. The final game of the series was one that's I'm not as eager to just wipe away, of course, because you get down to some more individual issues. And Jeff Hoffman being the main one there, it's been a strange run for him because in April, he looked as dominant as I've seen a Blue Jays reliever in my time covering the team, I think. It was not just good. It was cool. It had some edge to it. It was really, really impressive. So a series like this, I don't see any fatal flaws being exposed, but I do see a couple of individual things that you don't want to see against a bad baseball team.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, look, what's really weird for me about Jeff Hoffman is, I mean, I'm looking at the stuff right here. I'm looking at the Baseball Savant. Yeah. Everything is looking pretty red, except for when he gets hit. He gets hit very, very hard. And obviously yesterday, you know, we haven't seen this too much from him. You know, he makes an error and then leads to a double, and then everything kind of just snowballs from there. So, you know, that wasn't the problem that's been plaguing him all season. Like he's been able to field balls over to first base, but it just feels like things aren't going his way right now. Things aren't falling for him. Are you concerned at all by just how hard people are hitting him? Because again, the stuff looks awesome, and I'm just like anyone else. I'm saying, well, it's gonna turn around eventually. It just hasn't turned around yet. So like, where are you in terms of Jeff Hoffman? Like, are you still in on his camp, or do you think there needs to be some sort of change in the roles until proven otherwise?
Like, I'm still a big believer in him long term, but you can't wipe away what's happened. And I think too many people are trying to do mathematical backflips to describe this as bad luck. I cover what actually happens in the games. Okay. Now, if a little bit of bad luck here and there, it's important for me to understand that and know that. But some folks go to real extents to sound smarter and look more correct about luck and bad luck. Keeps happening, man. And it's happening in games that count towards their record in a season where it's probably going to come down to 1 or 2 games in the wild card of the division. We all know how this works every single year now in this crowded wild card race. So the home runs matter to me. I don't care that if the wind patterns or wall height or anything else makes it a home run in X out of X stadiums. It was a home run.
Yeah.
And at this point, there has to be a little bit of worry with Jeff Hoffman, but mixed in with a belief in his talent. And I think that's where John Schneider kind of is when he says that yesterday they trust him. And I promise everyone that it's John Schneider's job more to manage his clubhouse than manage the emotions of the reply guys in my mentions. He's not going to go out there on the podium and say, you know what, Keegs, let me trash this guy. Like, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I know how the game works. He can go do that in the clubhouse if he wants to. He's not going to say that to me with Sportsnet's camera over my shoulder. It's not going to happen. So what you get publicly from John Schneider is not necessarily what the clubhouse gets privately. And that's okay. It's how it works. So I think that they're at a really interesting point right now of a bit of a decision. And I don't mean this in a dire, like, cut Jeff Hoffman. He'll be fine eventually. You just want him to be fine this week, not 3 weeks from now, after a game or 2 have been lost. And with how good Yariel Rodriguez looks, and I mean, damn, like he looks like one of the better relievers in the American League right now.
Agreed.
He fits the late innings so well because of the persona he has. He's a scary dude. Let's be honest about it. If
Frightening, bro.
If I see benches clearing, I'm picking out Yariel and getting far away from him, right? So the persona fits the 9th inning so well. And I always love that. I'm a sucker for a closer with a real closer's persona. And if Yariel needs to jump into a couple of those, cool. But we know how modern baseball works. At some point, you're going to need 2 or 3 closers if you're a serious team in the postseason. And Jeff Hoffman, what I keep coming back to, guys, is something that John Schneider keeps mentioning, honestly, as well, is that the stuff is still okay. He's missing some spots, but if Jeff Hoffman was suddenly throwing 92, you're worried. That's a crisis. His stuff still looks okay. He's just not spotting it well. He's making the wrong pitches at the wrong times. The walks in a couple of spots have been an issue. And when things are going wrong, it snowballs. Like, he ends up barrel rolling around the infield yesterday. If he scoops that up and tosses it, we're having a totally different
story.
Yeah.
You know, but so it builds up. It snowballs on the guy. And I still fully believe that Jeff Hoffman's going to be a really useful, really dominant piece of this bullpen. This version of the Blue Jays, though, more than a few years ago, needs it to happen now. There can't be any like, oh, wait, it'll come up. No. Okay. We go back to the 2021 Blue Jays that missed the playoffs by 1 game. There's a lot of 1 games to be made up during the season. So I'm always kind of on the side of a little urgency, I think.
Well, I love what you said off the top there, man, about how it's like, okay, yeah, you know, you can do all these mental gymnastics and you can, you know, kind of convince yourself into believing it is just an unlucky thing. And I do appreciate, you know, looking at some of those expected numbers and looking at, you know, what this guy does in this count on this type of batter, and all that stuff is great. But at the end of the day, to your point, I mean, like, what are you actually doing for me on the field right now? And right now, obviously, it's not going great for him. Whereas for Yariel Rodriguez, I mean, like, that is a bad motherfucker when he gets out there, dude. Like, I do not want to deal with that man if I was in the box. So I do tend to agree with you that, yeah, maybe some sort of adjustment needs to get made. Now, somebody else that is looking decent in terms of their stuff and, you know, their expected numbers and their baseball savant and everything like that is Kevin Gausman. But recently, you haven't actually been seeing, you know, you haven't been seeing some great results from it. I see a lot of people in the chat right now talking about him and just what his issue could or could not be. Where are you at right now with Gauss?
Man, coming into the year, I thought Gausman would have some Cy Young votes, honestly. He looked that good in spring training. He didn't have an injury this year. Remember last year, he was kind of playing catch-up. If you're stuck playing catch-up, you're toast, no matter who you are. He was healthy this year, and he looked really good. I like that he bulked up a little bit. And early in the season, I thought he was on that path. Honestly, really did. The way John Schneider said it this week made a lot of sense, which is that Kevin Gausman's getting stuck in bad counts. And that is bad for anybody, but I think it's important why this is specifically bad for Gausman is because he has one very obvious way to get you out, which is the splitter. Now, if Chris Bassett is in a 3-1 count, he can do 20 different things. If Gausman is in that 3-1 count, you're probably getting a fastball. And if you're looking for the strikeout pitch, you're looking for the splitter. There's not a lot of variety there. And most of the time that's okay because he's elite at what he does. He's absolutely spectacular when he has the fastball high, splitter low. But he's losing that option right now. When you're in a 2-0, a 3-1 count, you lose the opportunity to make the first move. And Gausman, more than any other pitcher on the staff, needs the first move. I think that's the important part.
Yeah.
His stuff is not bad. It's there. He's just putting himself in bad spots. All this is.
When I watch his starts, it feels like I miss arm side too wide, or I pull it a little bit too much. It just feels like location just missing a little bit finesse off, on the edges. So it feels like something that it can be corrected and it just, you got to locate a little bit more right off the top and just get ahead of the count. Right now, is that is there a mechanical thing going on there? Or what do you suspect? Why is it that he's missing so early, so often lately?
Man, Gausman's delivery is pretty jerky off the top with that leg lift. It's not a smooth rock back and throw. He waits, and it's like a cat getting ready to run up the stairs. He's quivering, then boom, it's a burst.
Yeah.
And with that really abrupt leg lift with his front left leg, so he's tapping, boom, he's into the delivery. So if you are losing your rhythm at all in that, there's nowhere to find it because it's a very abrupt delivery. And much like every conversation about Gausman, he's done an amazing job at this for years. And even when he's struggling, he's still okay. But when you get a little bit off in that, it's hard to correct because it's such an abrupt, quick delivery. And when you're missing by just a bit, things do unravel a little bit on Gausman. Now, we've seen it this year, how he'll bounce back. Next time in Cleveland, I'm sure he'll throw 8 innings and strike out 10. It can happen very quickly. Yeah. And I still definitely believe in Gausman this year. I think he has a chance to start game 1 of the postseason if they make it there. He has an opportunity to be more dominant than any pitcher in this rotation. BREWHOUSE and Bassett can be more consistent, more steady, more reliable. But Gausman has the ceiling still that nobody else has in this rotation. And that has to still be in there somewhere. I don't think he's too old. I don't think he's too anything at this point. I think he's got good baseball left in him. But he has that ceiling that they need. And thankfully he has some time to work that out. I think he'll hold up okay. But got to find it. Got to find it now.
So when we're looking at the pitching, because there are issues, and we just addressed there's some issues in the bullpen right now, especially the back end of the bullpen. There are also a couple question marks from that starting rotation. I mean, you just saw Bowden hit the IL. Max Scherzer should be Wednesday? He's making his first start.
Wednesday.
It's Wednesday, so we'll see what he's doing there. Obviously, no sure thing there. I'm really hoping that he can just stay healthy as much than anything. But there are definitely some question marks and no real clear apparent, I use quotations here because, what does the term even mean? But ace. Trade deadline, 5 odd weeks away right now. What is the biggest need for you on this team? Is it that starter? Is it, 1 or 2 elite bullpen guys? Or is it something that we haven't even been talking about, whether it be a, middle of the lineup bat or something like that?
I think bullpen's just always a need. So I feel like I never actually call that the need. Everybody's going to target bullpen. It's just how this works. And I think the Jays will have to. The lineup this year is different for me because you do not need to make I've been using Whit Merrifield as the example. You don't need to make that type of trade this year. You don't need to make the type of trade to kind of sort of fill a couple spots, round out your depth. They have enough depth. Depth is not the problem, especially when Varsho and Santander are back. The Blue Jays have enough big leaguers. In past years, they've had to trade for big leaguers. They don't need to do that this year. They can go on a bench 5, 6, 7, 8 deep with legitimate big league players. That's okay. If they're going to add a position player, a hitter, it needs to really raise the ceiling I think, quite a bit on this roster. It needs to be a great player, not just a good veteran who can give you 10 more OPS points. Who cares? It needs to be a great player, and probably one with some contract left. I think the rotation is still it. And I think that it needs to be a multi-year answer. Now, the Jays will be open to rentals. Everybody will be at the right price. But when I look beyond this year, Max Scherzer is gone. Chris Bassett, free agent. Bowden Francis, who is he next year? I don't know. Alek Manoah, who is he next year? Ideally, you're number 4, but I don't know. Is Trey Savage going to be great? Maybe, but I don't know. We've gone through Ricky Tiedemann and Nate Pearson. People know how this works. Kevin Gausman has 1 year left in 26. Jose Berrios has an option after that year. Like the rotation has way more questions than answers beyond. Now, a couple of those questions I raise will work out. Maybe Trey Savage is an ace. Maybe Manoah does bounce back. But the Jays need to prepare themselves. I think they're on the verge of losing this veteran core that's been so valuable. And I really, really, really think this is the deadline to get out in front of that and look for another deal like the BREWHOUSE deal from 2021.
Or let me sell you on this one right now, Keegs. Okay, we've been slowly trying to convince our audience that this is the move right now. Baby. Jacob DeGrom.
Wow.
30. Listen. Okay, yeah. You're like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? 37 years old. I know he's old as all holy hell, but he's under contract until 2028. He is healthy finally. He's got like a 2.2 ERA with the Rangers, who are not playing very good baseball right now, and who are, have so much money locked down in Semien and in Corey Seager. Maybe they want to ship him off, get rid of that contract, give him to a team that can take that contract on, like the Toronto Blue Jays. Just a thought experiment. Feel free to write it in an article. You don't need to at me.
I like it. His numbers are even better than I thought this year.
I know. They're actually crazy.
I think mentally, I just have him on the IL at all times.
Yes.
And I guess I don't pay much attention to Rangers baseball. Amazing. I know wins don't matter. Unreal that he only has 91 wins in his major league career. Now. So many injuries. Man, some of that Pete Walker, Blue Jays training staff magic to I'd love to sit Jacob DeGrom and Max Scherzer down in a room together. I don't know if DeGrom would get a word in, but
could you imagine a postseason where somehow these guys are both healthy? The Jays trade for DeGrom, and it's like, 1-2. Here's DeGrom and Gausman. What are we in 2019, 2018? Yeah. What's going on here? That would be ludicrous. But
I think they've got a target term, man. Like they have money. That's the thing. There are more players coming off the books. Bo and many others coming off the books. There's money.
Yeah. Well, and I think honestly, man, like after that Devers trade, it kind of you forget like how much money becomes a factor. Yeah. Because, like, just pound for pound, right? I mean, like, they traded Devers for pennies. But because he's, got so much money associated with him, it's like, oh, okay, well, now we're clear of that contract. We can get rid of that. So, like, if you're suggesting, well, we go out, we have to get somebody that is on a, 2 or 3 year deal, right, with a little bit of control to kind of mitigate the losses that they might feel from Chris Bassett in free agency or from others. Yeah. Like I kind of like the idea of going out and spending Edward Rogers' money and targeting somebody that is on a more expensive deal, but you don't have to give up your Arjun Namala or your Trey Savage to get it because you're taking on that money.
It's the easy way to do it, man. They have the money. They've used money in the past, not this aggressively, but I think they should. There's small market teams out there looking to shed money. Small market teams or teams with more uncertain financial futures than the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays have a very certain financial future, at least in the immediate future, relative to the rest of baseball. And it's not my money. Go spend it. They have that strength that few other teams have. And they have enough of a farm system. The farm system's having a good year. You're not trying to trade for Ohtani. It doesn't matter. They can make any trade they want with these prospects. They can easily. And the money is the biggest strength, man. It puts them in this group of 5 or 6 teams in the league who can really take on money beyond this year. And that eliminates so many other people. I think it's their big advantage, man. This is the deadline to be aggressive. I don't care if it's an inch, a percentage point off your projection of a blah, blah. This is the year. Like the AL is wide open. You've got Bo Bichette here. You've got the veteran rotation still in place. I think they need to go nuts. I think they need to really, really, really push in at this trade deadline.
No, they do. I mean, you mentioned it right there, Bichette. Like he is the leader in RBIs on this team. You know, the conversations of trading Bichette, all that, that's all out the window. Like now you're hanging on to him to go and make a deep run.
Yeah.
So I agree. Like there's a clear and obvious hole, many holes actually, probably you could argue in the rotation. You got to go and you add plus side guys that can go and lead you into the playoffs. Because we've talked about it. Like, don't get me wrong, love BREWHOUSE, love Bassett, love Gausman. But come September, who's going to be? You mentioned that Gausman could be starting game 1, but honestly, at that point, if Gausman's struggling and BREWHOUSE having a great month, could be BREWHOUSE starting game 1. Yeah. It's a toss-up, right? Where the Blue Jays really do need to get somebody who can match up against, I'm using this as a weak example, a Tariq Skubal, you know, in game 1. They don't have a guy that can really match up. So I think the Blue Jays got to go and do that. Now, one guy that they maybe, if he's healthy and playing great, could be a game 1 starter to throw him in the mix with all the threes in there is Max Scherzer. He's making his start this Wednesday, Keegan. Thank goodness he's finally back. What are your expectations on Max Scherzer this coming Wednesday? Thoughts in general? What do you think we're going to get from him?
Glad he's back, man. I'm tired of writing about thumbs. It's been enough. I've had enough of it. This is big for them, man, because what's been lost in the conversation about his thumb and is the fact that he's good. Like it's been so much thumb, recovery, pitch count. He's still good. I know he's 40. I know he does not throw 97 anymore, but his fastball still works. His slider is still really good. It can get swings and misses in and out of the zone. I think Max Scherzer can still be that 3.8, 3.9 ERA guy if he's healthy. And you don't need him to throw 110 pitches. Man, this is modern Major League Baseball. If he's the number 5 and he's giving you 85, 88 pitches over 4 2/3, whatever it is, cool. You're fine. Yeah. And it's going to be, I think, refreshing for Max because he's very competitive, and I don't think that hanging out around the clubhouse has scratched that itch for him over the last few months. He's got a lot of energy. My God, he's got a lot of energy, and good for him to have an outlet for that now. But it's at the right time, man, because Bowden Francis, I don't know how long he'll be down. Other than that, you're looking to AAA at like Lazaro Estrada or somebody like that as the next wave up, along with this mess of like Paxton Schultz, Turnbull, of others that are they bulk guys? Are they starters? Do either of those words exist anymore? Have they joined forces? I don't know. But it's
a dude.
Yeah, lots of that. So the timing's very good. The name value is great, but I still think he's actually good. I think he can give the Jays some real value. It's just about staying healthy, man. He's not out of the woods on this yet. You're still going to hear him delivering, doctoral thesis about the thumb a couple more times, I think, until we're out of this.
Well, honestly, like at this point, if we can end up with, I think the number for Adam and I is like anywhere from like 8 to 12 starts of Max Scherzer, I would be extremely happy about it. Now I know that you do need to leave relatively soon, so we got one more question for you. This one comes in from DePort Schneider. Needs a lot to interpretation there. But they're saying Bo extension, yes or no. Now I want to just, I guess, prelude this. We've been pretty, I flip-flop back and forth on this so often. But one thing that kind of instills me with a little bit of confidence, and I don't know if this necessarily relates to Bo where he's at right now, because it might not even, the deal for him might not even look like something like this.
Yeah.
But the fact that the Toronto Blue Jays were even calling about Rafael Devers and interested in potentially taking on a contract that big along with the Vladimir Guerrero Jr. contract that, will come into place next year, that instills me with confidence that at the very least, like, it's not going to be a money thing, I think, anyways, like a money problem as to why they may or may not extend him. Thoughts on Bichette staying here long-term after this year?
Money won't be an issue. Going back to the start of the season, I've kind of used that Willy Adames deal as a very, very rough ballpark, 7-182. I think Bo's a great example of a player who, if he has 10 teams interested, the 10 valuations will be very different. Some teams will think he'll age differently physically. Some teams will see a long-term shortstop. Some might see a second baseman a couple years. Some might believe in the bat. Some will point to last year. You're going to get a lot of range on Bo Bichette. The Blue Jays know him better than anybody. The one thing I'll say about Bo that I think is important is that there's a great temptation to psychoanalyze Bo Bichette, and there's a lot of body language expertise on social media. He is not going to go to Los Angeles and be dancing in the dugout like Teoscar or something. This is who Bo Bichette is. And what a lot of people read into with Bo and his mannerisms and how he is on camera, that's just him. He's the same guy when I talk to him at 11 a.m. on a Sunday at his locker alone, you know? And the other thing I always say about Bo Bichette is that when he speaks, you got to listen to him because he's very thoughtful and very intentional with what he says. Now, when he continues to tell me and other reporters that he wants to play with Vladdy his whole career, he means it. He's not saying that for headlines because headlines make people like me talk to him again, which I don't think he's after. Okay.
Right.
It's, you know, Bo is not always the most open and expressive guy in interviews. That's not his job. His job is to score runs and win baseball games. So that's cool. But don't take that as a lack of enthusiasm or a lack of interest. I don't think. It'll be a baseball decision, but I think a little too much has been put into, oh no, did he put the home run jacket on all the way? Oh, did he dance when Vladdy danced? You know, that's just who he is.
Yeah.
He's not going to go to another team and be doing cartwheels anywhere on the field. So I think there is still a legitimate chance. It's nothing I would put a percentage thing on. It's kind of where I was with Vladdy in the offseason, where I think it'll go to free agency and the Jays are involved. You know, they know him better than anyone. They have a better feel for how he will age. And I have no reason to think that Bo won't be open to that. I'm around him every day. All he has said is that he wants to play with Vladdy long term, that they've talked about it, that he's open to it. If Bo was saying, screw this place, I hate Canada, get me out of here, God bless America, sure. All right, different conversation. But I think there's been a lot of reading between the lines, not on the actual lines. And with everything he's saying, man, it sounds like an openness at the very least.
Yeah.
And winning changes it all, man. Win a playoff series here, see how the city reacts to that, see how it feels to win a playoff series alongside Vladdy and your buddies. Things change real quick.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Hey, listen, I played a lot of baseball with guys who I was on their team. I didn't hear them talk for the half the season.
Right.
And then we end up at like a team gathering and it's like, oh, now they're kind of opening up a little bit. And they're like, oh, I thought this guy hated me the entire time. No, that's just him. He's just a ball player. He's just here to play ball, right? That's how I look at Bo Bichette, man. He's just a ball player. He'd play ball. He's here to do business. But I'm here with you on that. Like, I'm open to it. I think Mullet fans will be open to it. I think he's as well considering it. And the door is definitely not shut. Keegan, before you go, you got a little shout out for a little event. Actually, probably not even little because based on the first one, it was massive. You got a big event going on this Thursday. Tell the audience about it, everyone.
Yeah, it's this Thursday, June 26th. It'll be at 7 o'clock at Another Story Bookshop on Roncesvalles Avenue in Toronto. So if you're around there, you can get there. The link will be out there. You can reserve. It's just a free ticket, so we know who's coming. You don't have to pay $1. But I'll be signing books. We'll have books available. And I'm going to make my friend Julia Kreuz have a conversation with me about the book. So we're going to act really professional. I won't swear or anything. I might wear a jacket. We'll see. But it'll be a good event. I think it's they've got a lot of signups. A lot of folks are going to come by. So if you have a book, bring it. If you don't, we'll have some. And hope to see some folks there.
Cool. Hey guys, if you want to sign up for that event, the link is in the description. Also, I just noticed, is that a dog
That's
behind
a dog
you?
in the back. I just saw that too.
Napping. Hey.
On the Green Bay Packers.
Just completely tapped out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Absolutely out. It looks like a dog. At heart, she's a cat, but she just, that's about the most effort you see from this dog all day.
I love it. I would bet any money Nick's about to grab he's about to grab a Green Bay Packer blanket as well.
There we go.
I got one too, buddy. I got
great
one
minds, great taste.
Awesome. Keegan, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate your time. Guys, again, go check out Keegan's event. We'll be there as well. So if you want to come hang out with everybody, go sign up for the Eventbrite page. Keegan, thank you so much, man. Appreciate it.
You got it, guys. Thank you.
Take care, man. All right, that was Keegan Matheson. He knows his stuff. If you want to read his book, then please go do so. I'm really excited. I still haven't got my copy yet, but I will be getting one on Thursday. We will be there. We are not going anywhere, though, folks. So the 137 of you that are still here right now, please make sure to hit that like button, smash the subscribe button. Let's get into We want to talk about the upcoming series? What do we want to talk about?
Let's get into the upcoming series, everybody. But before we do, we got to give a quick shout out to our friends over there at Amsterdam Brewhouse, guys. We are also having an event. That's Tim Hortons. Whoops. We are also having an event tomorrow. We're having an event tomorrow at Amsterdam Brewhouse, guys. Link for that is in the description. It's an RSVP page, open table. Go down there, click it. Be there for 5 p.m. If you can't make it for 5 p.m., come right before the game. The game starts at 6:40. We're going to be there talking, giving out prizes, giving out merchandise, doing a little bit of trivia, and hanging out and just watching ball with you guys. And, of course, having some drinks and some food along with it. So if you guys want to see us in person, hang out with us, talk some ball, watch some ball, click the link down in the details, guys.
Seriously, would be awesome. Why does Nick like the Green Bay Slackers so much? I don't know what you're talking about, Arsene. I don't know what you're talking about, man. You let us know your team in the chat, and I can chirp you.
Actually, Jays fan 27 with the facts, because this is our usual Monday show. We do gotta crown this, everybody. So before we get into what is going to be this upcoming series against the Guardians, let's crown the Jay of the Week.
It's Jeff. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely not the case, everybody. It is Bo Bichette, the guy that we were literally just talking about potentially getting extended. He did have a really solid week, everybody. He started off the week, I remember looking at this, and his OPS was like creeping down to that 700 to 600 mark. And now his season-long OPS, 766, right back where you want to see it. On the week, the dude was a demon. I believe he had an OPS of like 1.1 or something along those lines. I mean, the guy was very, very solid. He is the the leader on the Toronto Blue Jays in RBIs, which is just a wild thing to say considering that he has, been leadoff guy pretty much the entire season long. But Bo Bichette has continued to do it, continued to produce. And even though it didn't result in wins against the White Sox, he certainly helped us win the other games.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this guy's been, like Nick said, amazing, big part of the roster. Go Jay of the Week. You got 3 home runs. The power is starting to slowly come back. And literally in that loss against the White Sox, he was the only guy driving in runs, which is absolutely crazy. So Bo Bichette, Jay of the Week, and it continues the streak, if you believe it or not, for having a different Jay of the Week every single week.
Wow.
Like literally we have not had a repeat of Jay of the Week.
And we're not actively trying to do that either. But yeah, like we are now, how many Jays we've had? Like what, 12, 13? Goodness. It's been a lot. Like it's been a significant amount.
So let me read it off for y'all again. You got Jimenez, Springer, Hoffman, Bassett, Berrios, Flahardy, Varsho, Gausman, Barger, Lauer, Clement, and Bichette. That's 12 in a row.
That is 12 Jays of the Week that we've done so far this year. Not a single repeat. I mean, it's got to happen sooner rather than later because we're going to run out of roster spots.
We're literally almost halfway through the roster.
Yeah.
What is like well, Swanson's gone now.
Is it gonna be this guy? It's Max Scherzer.
Max
Scherzer could do it.
Dude, he comes out. Yeah, he dominates on Wednesday. Would he start? No, he wouldn't start Sunday. But imagine he goes like a no hitter.
Yeah, if he actually dominates on Wednesday, I would do it because I don't know who the hell else could do it at this point.
And also funny, no Guerrero. So
not a single Guerrero yet. Okay, actually, I guess he could certainly get it at some point. Let's transition and talk about this upcoming series, folks. No game today, but tomorrow. Toronto Blue Jays are going to be taking on the Cleveland Guardians. Cleveland, man, I feel like they've always just had our number a little bit. Like it's like we struggle against this type of team. Cleveland kind of reminds me a little bit of the Rays, a little bit of like the Milwaukee type, like just like well coached, defense first, pitching. Typically pretty good pitching, and just across the board, like a hard team, no free wins here. And you can tell by the record 39-37. There's still a good ball team. They're going to be in the mix for the wild card.
They're tied.
Division is effectively out of their hands at this point because Detroit's just so damn good. But yeah, they are going to be one of those wild card contenders. Game 1, you got Eric Lauer, the fucking GOAT, everyone. Listen, this guy is an animal. This guy's an absolute animal. I would go so far to say that Eric Lauer, whilst he is not the MVP of the Toronto Blue Jays this year, he is certainly an honorable mention for the best, unexpected,
unexpected
surprise. Yeah, like this is the guy.
Yeah, like handful of dudes are in that unexpected surprise. Like you got Barger, you got Lauer, you can even throw Brandon Little in there.
Yariel Rodriguez, yeah.
But like, yeah, he's one of those. And literally, we would not have the record. We would not be where we were if it was just any other bullpen day that was taking up the spots that he was pitching for the last 2 months. We could be we could be at 500, below 500.
Literally.
You never know. Eric Lauer's the demon. He's going up against Allen. I think the Blue Jays got to bounce back, man. They're on the road. They got to beat the Cleveland Guardians. I'm saying they take game 1 because Lauer does not let us down.
No, I don't think he does either, man. I'm skeptical because eventually he's gonna blink. Like that's just going to happen. He's not immediate. Like it's crazy to me that we're at this point and the guy still has an ERA of like 2.3, which is just wild stuff.
And it's no longer opener. I'm a starter. He will try and give you 5 innings.
100%.
Like,
yeah. I mean, and you can make a strong argument right now that he's not only just a starter, but one of our better starters at this current juncture of the season. Will that continue for the rest of the year? I'm not sure, but I do like the Toronto Blue Jays in that first one, and I actually really like. So I'm going to steal your prediction right here, Jays fan 27. Since it's Lauer, 4-2 Toronto Blue Jays. That's going to be my official prediction for tomorrow's game.
Okay, love it, guys. Hey, and that's the game we're going to be at Amsterdam Brewhouse. So if you want to watch a W, then come down to Amsterdam Brewhouse.
Hell yeah.
Game 2. This should be an exciting one, everybody. You've got Max Scherzer on the bump up against Gavin Williams. Now, this is going to be interesting because we don't know what we're going to get from Scherzer. And plus, when you're thinking about that Scherzer start, who's the guy coming in after? Most likely will be Spencer Turnbull doing some sort of bulk role. So you got to consider that. Granted, it's not a starting role. You're not expecting him to go 3-4 innings. He's only going to give you maybe 1 or 2. So maybe that takes the pressure off him. Maybe he cuts down to just 2 or 3 pitches at most.
Because Spencer Turnbull, we haven't even really talked about it, but like he did not look good when he was out there on Friday.
And that's why when we were talking to Keegan, like he kind of felt the same way, and I feel the same way, where it's like that's just one of those garbage ones you got to just throw in the trash can. It's like that's a Spencer Turnbull game right there, and we just lost it from that point. But he will be coming in after Max Scherzer. What are we going to get for Max Scherzer? For me, there's too many question marks. We're still in Cleveland. It's Gavin Williams. I'm going to say we take an L on this one.
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you, man. There's just like a couple too many things going against us there where, uncertainties. I don't know how long Max Scherzer is going to go. I don't know what state he's going to be in. He's, apparently throwing well, but I also heard, a day or two ago that he was saying, yeah, my thumb hurts. So his thumb is still hurting, even though he's going to be coming back and pitching for us. It's not like the pain has gone away. It's still there. It's just manageable at this point. And, how manageable is it? And how manageable is it going to be when he's at that, 40 pitch mark in the third and, there's a runner on second now, right? So for me, there is just a few too many uncertainties. I will say that we lose that one. And, Cleveland gets the better of us there. So 1-1 in the series. Final game, though, you got Kevin Gausman and you got him going up against Tanner Bybee over there on Cleveland. Now he's got a 4-7 record, but the ERA is actually better than Kevin Gausman right now, and Kevin Gausman has not had his best stuff recently. We apparently know what the problem is. Gausman's got to be in that, alpha leading the,
throwing first pitch strikes.
Yeah, throwing first pitch strikes, getting ahead, taking charge of the bat or of the at bat, and he hasn't been doing that so far. Where are you at with this one?
Yeah, I mean, look at Gavin, too. Like, he's also been kind of struggling lately. He's got back-to-back starts. He got 4, 2, 3 earned runs, 4 earned runs. He hasn't had an outing where he's gotten 1 or less earned runs since May 22nd. But, Kevin Gausman is struggling. I feel like my gut's saying we lose this one again. We're going through a little bit of a skid right now, the Toronto Blue Jays. We got to bounce back, and we got to take care of the Boston Red Sox in the following series because, Guardians always have us. We always struggle against the Guardians. This is one of those series for me as well where it's like you got to break your past demons. You got to go and you got to beat the Guardians. They're tough pitching staff. They're good defense. You got to do it,
Also, Chris saying ERA over 7 in June, cringe, and that is something to note. I mean, again, we were talking with Keegan about, okay, you got all these expected numbers, get the expected ERA, whatever, and all that's great. But the fact of the matter is, in June, he's got a 7.5 ERA. That's what it is. And that's just, you just cannot, you can't have that from one of your supposedly elite individuals. All that being said, though, I'm just kind of crossing my fingers and hoping that the offense comes to life in Cleveland because that's something that we didn't really see consistently against the White Sox. Like there was the one good game, and then the other two were just effectively stinkers, right?
Yeah, like you know what's crazy too? They changed the pitcher again. They had Adrian Hauser on the mound, who's got like a 2 ERA. You know, it was like, what the hell? Where'd this guy? We didn't predict that because that guy wasn't slotted in at that time. But whatever, man.
And honestly, that for me is kind of the biggest area of concern. Because it's like, okay, I knew that Jeff Hoffman was struggling, and I knew that Spencer Turnbull was going to be bad. I didn't know that we'd only put up 1 or 2 against the Chicago White Sox. So that's something that I need to see get better, because one of the strengths has been the offense. I want that strength to continue. I say that we win game 3. So we win game 1, lose game 2, win game 3. You say we lose the bottom 2.
Until Kevin Gausman can throw first pitch strikes. He's going to be on the drastic side of that ERA, which is the 7 mark. And then if he throws first pitch strikes, he'll be throwing friggin' no hitters, or not no hitters, but shutout innings.
Well, honestly, like we desperately need Gausman to be, instead of a question mark, more of an exclamation point. Because if he is, let's just say, for instance, let's say he struggles here in Cleveland. All right, he struggles in Cleveland. That's like back to back starts where it's just not good at all. And now you're suddenly, okay, we just got out of the Bowden Francis debacle, but now it's like Kevin Gausman's taken over that role. It's like, God only knows what we're going to get when he's on the bump. That's something that we can't have. We finally are getting Max Scherzer back. This should be the time where hopefully the rotation is going to be its strongest.
Hopefully, guys. But before we move on, let's give a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video.
Whoa, time for a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video. Hit your picks and knock it out of the park with Betway. Scan the QR code down below to join the action. Only available in Ontario. Must be 19 years of older to participate. Please play responsibly. Now, everyone, back to the content.
Shout out to Betway, everybody. This is our win-loss line as it stands right now. 84.5. Honestly, right around a little bit on the higher side of things, but right around where we predicted the Toronto Blue Jays would be living when it's all said and done this season. 84.5. The over is actually the underdog here. So we're favorited to go under. I get it. I do get it. Where are you at here?
I mean, look, like if you take what happened this weekend to heart and you think the Jays are actually a trash team, which you could, that's, you did lose to a trash team, then you should just take the under, take the under, because that's what you're saying is they're going to continue to fall back to 500, because that's roughly what you're saying. Like, oh, they're only 2 games above 500. Would that be, if it's an 84 win season, what would that be? 4 games
That'd
above
be
500?
3,
Something like that, right? So if you think that's what they are, smash under. Me, again, weak American League. I think they're going to be very aggressive at the trade deadline. I actually really like the over here. I think they'll be aggressive, and they could be better than I think if they lose this season at this rate right now, they kind of flatline out, and they chill it where they are. They go 500 the rest of the way, and it's like, okay, we win 85, 86 games.
Yeah, I do think that the trade deadline is going to be crucial. They need to be aggressive. They've done enough to convince the management to go heavily into this, but the bullpen is starting. Like, the wheels are falling off there. We need Jimmy back, and when he comes back, we need him to be very, very good, which, again, not necessarily a locked-in thing. Wheels are starting to fall off from that rotation. They've been kind of falling off, and God only knows what's happening with Gausman now, and that lineup as well. Yes, there are parts of it that I really, really like, but can we rely on those parts for the rest of the season? So I need to see them get aggressive at the deadline, because another thing in all of this is that their record may be 41-36, but their run differential still negative 10 right now.
And I'm looking at it like, and I would say this to you, like every time they lose, it's on those, not every time they lose, it's on these bullpen days, but it's like they get absolutely shelled. There's nobody in the bullpen. We just keep letting in runs and runs and runs. Whereas when we win, we're being competitive and we're fighting and we're just scraping by. And that's what it feels like a lot. So will the other shoe drop? I don't know. For me, it's not a concern yet, but we gotta not get shelled by getting some starting pitching.
Yeah, honestly,
if you get some starting pitching, you hopefully shouldn't get shelled.
Yes, that's you need good starting pitching, folks. So that is the Betway line right there. But you guys let us know in the chat what you're taking. It looks like everybody's saying over. Blue Jays channel, people saying over. Who would have thought? Let's get to the final segment of this video.
Spinning fortune, baseball, colorful, future determining, stat analyzing, and It's a wheel that we spin every week.
It is, in fact, a wheel that we spin every single week, folks. Looks like I took one off you last week.
You did. It was the OPS, Kirk against Springer. Kirk had a very good week of baseball. The other two categories, we just know because I had Swanson as the worst day. I got DFA'd immediately.
Yeah.
Okay, bye. And then you had the other one, stolen base category, our favorite. That literally nobody stole a base.
Nobody stole a single base.
Literally not a single.
Yeah. No, so that's the best we could have done there.
Yeah,
Wow.
literally.
Okay, well, that was my week. It is now your week. Honestly, I kind of like Kirk for OPS. I think I'm going to keep taking it.
Doing it as well.
Yeah, like Kirk is kind of like the dude, I think.
He's a consistent dude, other than maybe Bichette right now. Guerrero's pretty good. But also, guys, I don't have the text. So I'm just going to have to write this down. Worst J. Worst J is the category. Oh, boy.
Yeah, also the reasoning behind the tech is because when we have guests in, we have to use a different program, and then that causes us to not be able to type right now.
Where the heck is the? I don't have it up right here. I gotta find.
You have to go off the dome.
Player stats. 425. Blue Jays. Who's the worst J? Chat. Let us know. Who's
Sophie
the worst J?
suggesting Jeff Hoffman. Also, and saying the volume is all messed up. Really?
Probably, yeah. Because again, different program. They I'm assuming that this is like I can't tell how it's fixed. I can only go based off what I'm hearing. So maybe this. Is this better? Someone let us know, chat. Again, producing and hosting, very difficult. I'm gonna let you pick this one and just go with it. I'm gonna let you pick this one.
Okay. Interesting stuff here.
Blue Jays. Let's go hits and let's go last little bits. Where are we? Hello.
What the hell do I want to do here?
Yeah, what do you want
Turnbull, people are saying. That's interesting.
Turnbull, yeah. Maybe some sort of bullpen guy.
That would have to mean, you'd pick a bullpen
I'd have to
guy.
pick a bullpen
I'm
guy.
honestly, I was thinking about Max Scherzer, actually.
Oh, wow.
It's like, I mean, like, what's the best outcome that he could have? 3 innings, no earned runs.
4 innings, no earned runs.
Like that's like the best possible outing. Whereas the worst outing is like, he gives up like 2 or 3 in like 1.2 innings. And then it's like, and you're forced to pick a starter, then I'm doing it. I'm going Max Scherzer.
All right. Max Scherzer. I got to write this down. Max Scherzer. In that case, it feels like I'm kind of forced to take Kevin Gausman.
That's what I thought would have to happen.
You know, because listen, if he doesn't figure out the strike zone, then hey, if he goes 5 innings and gives up 4, that's better than Scherzer's best of 3 innings and none.
Exactly, yeah.
All right, let's go Kevin Gausman and Max Scherzer. I can't put the text up, guys, again, but that's what we're riding with right now.
All right, next category. You're going to be picking first for both of them. Gausman now, yeah. No, it feels like people believe you. Sophie's not happy about it.
Yeah, no. It's still going. Walks for the batters. Okay. This one's always a very simple one. I don't have to overthink it because I just go to walks.
Usually it's Vlad.
Guerrero.
Yeah, it's Vlad.
Guerrero for me.
Okay, that's reasonable. That is definitely reasonable.
Like to walk. That's his whole MO.
Barger's been getting a lot of walks recently too.
Kind of wild, yeah.
Can I see the season long ones, please? I feel like I know.
Springer? Wow, like Vlad walks so much more than everybody else.
Wow, I'm kind of shocked that Alejandro Kirk has not been walking. I guess it's just because he's been hitting everything. Wow, he's literally just been hitting everything. George Springer, it might have to. It might have to be Sophie. That's kind of my best shot here. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna have to go George Springer. Okay. Actually, wow, his on base is 100 points higher exactly than his batting average. George Springer is. Yeah. So that's pretty nice.
Yo, kind of crazy though. Actually, Guerrero, even though he's batting 279, which is lower than last year, the on base was 383.
Yeah, that's.
Imagine if you just tick that up a little bit, start getting hot. He said has on base of 400.
And when we broke him down in the podcast last week, the whole talk was okay. He hasn't been as aggressive. Yeah. So we are seeing the benefit of that. It just is also meaning less home runs.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Spinning the wheel, folks. Final category. It's been walks, and it has been worst J so far, of which I have Max Scherzer and Springer, and you got Kevin Gausman and they spun on worst J, so I just did it again.
Guerrero. All right, come on. What do we get? Let's get OPS. Oh, look
There
at
you
that. OPS. All right. Let me just confirm.
You gonna do what you said?
So, yeah, not Allen Run. Oh, Jesus, Guerrero. That's really good. 989. Where's Kirk at? Kirk's at 950. Damn, last 7 days. Obviously, it is Bichette. But what are we saying, chat? Kirk had a slower week. Kirk, Bo. I might just do. Barsher. Nah, yeah, like Barsher's so like hot and cold. You know what I mean? He's so it kind of evens out. I know you said you'd do Kirk every time. I don't know if I would. I mean, I'm looking at Guerrero right now, and I'm a liking it. Dude, he's been heating up. And I said this too, like after we started talking bad about him, being like, what's wrong with him? He like immediately just started like excelling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going Vlad. I'm gonna go Vlad here.
All right.
I'm gonna trust my guy.
Kirk
it is.
Yep. Listen, Kirk's going to have. Kirk, you want to talk about stable? Kirk's got the best floor on the team, and he's got a ceiling.
No, I don't disagree with the pick. I'm going for the upside of like flat, and it's flat. You know, like that's all I gotta say. And you can also say it's Kirk. You know, these are both two very good players.
Two very good
Nathan
players.
Lucas,
You know, who's
interesting,
going to
Chris.
have the better week this upcoming week? Honestly, I just love it if both of them can pop off. And we can be debating between their 1 and 1.1 OPSs on the next Blue Jays Today show because we do need some W's. Folks, if you haven't already done so, please hit that like button, smash that subscribe button. Go check out Keegan's book. It's not his launch, but it's a signing on Thursday. And then also, too, if you are around Toronto and you want to come get a beer with the boys, tomorrow night is a perfect opportunity to do so at Amsterdam Brewhouse. We appreciate this community so much. We appreciate you guys. And as always,
Go Jays, go!